Monopolistic competition. Right, what's this beast all about? Monopolistic competition, well, despite its name, monopolistic competition is actually very similar to perfect competition. If we look at the familiar market structure, we see perfect competition operating at the most competitive end of the spectrum, and monopolies at the least competitive. Oligopolies operate somewhere here. Monopolistic competition operates very close to perfect competition. That is, it's still under extreme competitive pressures. However, it's got a few things that differentiate itself from the complete tooth and nail battle that perfectly competitive firms have to fight within. Monopolistic competition, they do have a slight product differentiation. That is, their products are not entirely homogeneous. And this, while the perfectly competitive model doesn't really exist in the real world, the monopolistic competition is very prevalent. This is what we see primarily on the high streets. Monopolistically competitive firm is one that has got some price differentiation. So we take a look at the average corner shop. It's all pretty similar, but there is a little difference. The dry cleaners, a kebab store on one high street is very, very similar to another one, but might be a little tastier. It might have better service, or it might have a slightly better location. It has a slight differentiation in the product, which will allow it to make profits a little bit more sustainably. But at the end of the day, it too is subject to all the forces that drive out any abnormal profit over the period of time, and it is then faced with normal profits. Right, so okay, how does it look? We start with quantity and cost or price on the two axes, and we know that we had a perfectly horizontal, a perfectly elastic demand curve because they're price takers. That's not the case with monopolistic competition. We're back to a downward sloping demand curve, or AR curve, of course, as we know by now, and the MR curve sloping away twice the rate. So this is the pricing structure they're faced with, and they're a profit maximizing firm, and therefore their marginal cost curve is upward sloping like this, and they will operate at a point where MR equals MC right there. So in terms of their average cost curves, their average cost curve will be faced like this. And what they'll do is, when any point where their average cost is beneath their average revenue, a period of abnormal profit, because the industry is so competitive that at any period, if you've really nailed a methodology or you've got a particularly good location, as we see in certain restaurants around, and it's very effective, you're getting a lot of custom coming in, sure enough, other competitors will eventually feed into that point there. So if you're able to drive your average cost curve down for any period of time beneath your average revenues, and this is the point of your abnormal profit, sure enough, competitive pressures will sweep back into the market and prevent that those low costs from being able to be replicated for any period of time, and the competition will come back in, and profits return back to a normal point. AC, MC, AR, MR, the monopolistic competition model. Very similar to the perfectly competitive model, except for the AR and MR curves are downward sloping. Hope that's of some kind of help.